It's no secret that Holly and I are fans of the objective personality system. If it weren't for OPS, we would have never met, I would have never moved to New Zealand, and we probably wouldn't be making YouTube videos right now. We still might feel as stuck and as frustrated with our lives as we did about 4 years ago.
Over the last few years, both of us got an incredible amount of growth out of OPS, but we definitely don't like every aspect of the system.
No.
Some parts are pretty bad and problematic, others are just downright ugly. In this video, we'll unpack the good, the bad, and the ugly of OPS. We'll talk about things we'd like to see change, common misunderstandings, and why we still think it is the best personality-based tool for personal growth. So let's start with the bad.
Typing in the objective personality system isn't really suited for any person. On the one hand, typing is based on recognizing, interpreting, and tracking the subjective emotional states of the people you're trying to type. Roughly half the population will struggle with that. A lot. On the other hand, you have to compare your guesses with a partner who types independently and track the results of these comparisons. Only if you agree consistently can you claim that you can type. This turns personality typing from a simple checklist or an anecdote game into a statistics and numbers game. The other half of the population will struggle more so with that aspect. So, whoever you are, frustration awaits you if you want to get good at objective typing.
The system looks weird and overcomplicated and totally convoluted. There are now 2,048 different types with 11 independent binary coins plus several others. Compared to the big 5 or the 16 personalities, this is a lot to take in. It's not immediately clear why so many different types are beneficial and necessary for a system and why they would even exist. It pretty much looks like bullshit at first glance.
The terminology of OPS is even more convoluted and pretty silly in places. Terms like saviors and demons have obvious religious connotations that can give the wrong impression. Some people might come to think that OPS is a religious cult. Then there are these animals that have names like Blast and Sleep. It's not clear at all why these parts of the system would be called animals in the first place. It's confusing and silly. And terms like douchebag and crackhead are plainly insulting. What kind of immature troll would actually share these descriptions in public?
Objective personality is only objective in theory. The system, with its definitions and typing procedure, is intended to be objective or closer to an objective reality than other systems. In theory, anyone can learn how to type. However, in practice, it's much rather the Shan and Dave personality typing system because they are currently the only widely trusted source for getting your ops type. If it stays that way, the system will never be widely accepted or even be brought to science and have the broad impact that we believe it could have. But there have been a few people with remarkable results in the past, and luckily a handful of dedicated people practice and track their stats and are getting better at meeting objective standards week after week. Now let's move on with the ugly.
Your OPS type puts you in a box. Some people are afraid of knowing their type even if they don't fully believe in typology. It creates a false expectation of you, like introverts can't be effective leaders or number 3s can't be successful entrepreneurs. This is constricting and limiting. And for social types, maybe even more so. If you don't understand what your type means, a bad idea turns into a self-fulfilling prophecy. Oftentimes, people even put themselves in a box to stay cozy inside their comfort zone. They use their own type as an excuse for why they can't do a certain thing, like thinkers who want to be therapists or feelers who want to be mathematicians. If OPS content creators or people on social media don't handle this with care, they can cause a lot of harm by perpetuating bad stereotypes.
Ops can lead to type discrimination. Speaking of stereotypes, if you've been into typology for long enough, you know that some types are regarded as more valuable than others. Some types are considered especially rare, and others are simply more popular or less so. But whatever the case, this is just another form of discrimination that can get ugly and make others feel limited and judged.
Okay, let's end on the good.
Ops is more objective than other systems. The definitions and typing procedure of the system contain falsifiable statements. This is the main difference, and the significance of this is often poorly understood. A statement is falsifiable if it is possible to prove it wrong. A theory is only scientific if it can make predictions based on falsifiable statements. If not, it is pseudoscience, or not even that. Astrological horoscopes are not falsifiable because all their statements and predictions are too vague. You cannot definitively prove them wrong. It's the same with most other systems of personality. By definition, every coin in ops allows for a cross-check. If you think you're a thinker, you will not be able to deal with difficult emotions in a savior state. This is a falsifiable statement. It implies how my guess that someone is a thinker can be proven wrong. Typing with an independent partner introduces another element of falsifiability. If I cannot agree on my guesses with someone else with high probability, my claim that I can type can be proven wrong. Compared to this, most other systems type based on anecdotes and archetypes, or some shit like what the stars were doing while you were born. Ops allows you to build character. While your objective personality type is fixed throughout your life, how you express it and how you act is not. This is important to understand. Your type works like your genes. They are fixed, but, for example, how you eat is not. If you eat healthier, you'll feel healthier. The same genetic blueprint produces a different output from a different input. It's the same with your type. It indicates what you're afraid of and what triggers you and the things that are difficult for you to process. But it doesn't dictate how you ultimately respond to the fear. What you're afraid of in life is fixed, but how you act in the face of your fear is not. This is what we would call character, and it is something that you can build.
OPS is a practical tool for building the life you want. If you know your type, you can self-correct your behavior and build a life you want. You become aware of your fear and the things you're unconsciously avoiding, so you can change course. For this practical life application, the 3 most important aspects of your type are: first, your social type. It brings awareness to your long-term needs and allows you to plot a trajectory for your life that is the best match for you. Second, your last cognitive function. Your cognitive functions describe your emotional triggers, and your last function is your deepest, most painful trigger. It's the invisible road bump you feel along the way. Once you understand your part in creating the road bumps, you can choose to deal with them differently. And third, your last animal. Your last animal describes the actions in your life you don't take, at least not consistently. It's an aspect of your life you're unconsciously or unknowingly avoiding. But again, if you know what you're not seeing, you can self-correct. And even if it never feels quite right, it can give you the outcomes you desire. All it takes is a bit of courage.